So apparently Dehya is a very great and competent character, is a sentence that I have not heard yet after watching all of these Dehya videos. I waited a little bit to see just if anyone could find anything really good to use her for, but I just... Jinyan, Toma, pretty much any Pyro character is better in the role. And like you even see these C6 Jinyan, or not Jinyan, you even see C6 Dehya characters, and they're just like literally like pretty solid damage for a normal C0 character. It's very unsettling. So let me just give you a quick rundown real quick. So first off, Dehya and her weapon and her animations look so cool, which is a shame that she's being put on standard and her kit's basically awful. Which looks like such a cool character. Okay, so in case you guys have not seen what her ult does, even though I'm sure you guys have seen a million videos of these. So this basically just goes here. This is like a constant animation. You can't really leave this. Okay, and then her burst is done. Alright? And like, in that burst, it's hard to dash around and everything. Okay, we're just gonna wait till this restarts. So, okay. Like, you press this, right, does some burst. You try to dash away, but it's just, you just can't really leave that. Which I mean is fine, right? Like, but she doesn't really get particles when she's in this state. Which, once again, is fine. It's just get some Dehya particles. And then I want to show you guys one more thing with this. Okay, so if you start her ult, and then you jump at all, it's just gone. That's just like... It's just like so petty. Like why? Why would you just remove it? Okay, so basically you can just switch off to her, and then you basically don't really... You have a like crazy resistance to interruption, and you take like half damage while Dehya takes a lot of damage for the team. Which would be fine, right? If it was like total damage mitigation, or it was just a better kit, like the more higher scaling, better damage numbers, weren't all these restrictions and anything. But it's like it's just like okay, here, we're even. It's like that was 2,000 damage with an ult. Okay, we'll try this one more time, but it's like okay. It's like I know damage doesn't mean that much in the trial runs and everything. But I'll be real with you. It's like I don't really think any player actually needs Dehya. Okay, 6,000. Oh, big numbers. Look at this. There was a 10k in there. Oh, was that a 15k? I think I saw. Oh, that's crazy. So 15k maybe for like a 40 cost burst. Okay, right? So her energy cost is 70 with an 18-second cooldown and a 4-second duration. Once again, she looks really cool. But like, the resistance interruption is pretty cool, right? But like, why would you use Dehya over literally any other shielder or healer in the game, right? Because Dehya is supposed to be ran without these healer-shielder type things. Wow, that was that was so good. Dehya's supposed to be ran with like it's supposed to be run without healers and shielders basically. And it's like, okay, so you can use Dehya and take like 50% damage negation. Or you can just, okay, that's pretty much, her animations look so sick. But it's like, okay, we're just gonna leave real quick. Why would you need this resistance interruption and damage mitigation when... Oh, look at that. I did the same thing, but better. And it's like, okay, look at this is an Archon, right? Makes sense. But let's take a look at who else has it this simple to do. Literally, like, okay. Okay, but look at that. Bennett's like top tier character. Okay, Diona. Pretty high up, but not top tier character. People are saying she's on par with Rosaria, who's not Rosaria, Jinyan, who's one of the one of the worst characters in the game. You can also use Yanfei as a shielder. You have Sayu healing, which ideally isn't great or anything, but it's like Toma's gonna be better for like Virgin teams and everything. It's gonna be better for shielding, the pyro application off field. It's like there's almost no need for this character, and it kind of seems like they almost designed her just to design her. Like I don't know how to say it, just for the sake of designing her. It feels so weird because it's like, what? Okay, so like damage mitigation, right? It makes sense and all, but if that's like a big part of your kit, why would you want damage mitigation when you can just completely eliminate damage? Like, a shielder just eliminates damage, right? It's not like, oh, you can block 50% of the damage and take the HP off that character and all these complicated steps. And if you're on field for 4 seconds with your burst, your E is paused, and it's like, what? What is her kit on about? Like, and yes, while I do think she's a really cool character and everything, it's just like, nobody I've seen is recommending her at all. And it's like, what? I see people with Voracious that are like 70 to 220, and then their Dehya's hitting for like 10,000 damage. Like, I'm kind of speechless, and it's honestly pretty funny. But like, why? Okay, even there's this Kenshin creator, Soul of an Artist, that while he is normally fairly negative for most characters, there's this community post I saw that he put that said, you guys are playing Dehya wrong. She's not for damage, she's a support, and she's there for emotional support because she should not be on your team. And it's kind of just like, okay, that's pretty funny. Like, once again, I'm not here to just come and try to bash on the character. Like, if you really like the character, pull her. You're gonna have fun, you're gonna be able to do whatever you want. But it's like, I feel like you're always just gonna be expecting more. Or I feel like, okay, here's my philosophy of the game, right? Play whatever characters you think are cool. Right? Like, okay, these are just characters I think are cool. Or every single one of these characters meta? Meta, no, but like, I built them because I like most of these characters. And it's like, I feel like play whoever you want, but play them in the best way you can, like the best teams basically. Right? Like, okay, I didn't really care much for Bennett at first, but then I saw that he was one of Child's best supports and everything, so I was like, okay, I'll build Bennett. So it's like, because I like Child. And it's like, you can only invest in the characters so much. There's a damage floor and a damage ceiling for every character, and it just seems like Dehya's damage floor is low and her damage ceiling is like barely above it. It's like, I don't know. Okay, so I feel like the biggest problem here is that she doesn't really fit any one role indefinitely. Like, okay, Xinyan, the reason, why did people say that Xinyan was so bad for the longest time? And I feel like there's uses for Xinyan, you know? But like, why did people say Xinyan was almost useless for the longest time? And it's because she tried to do too much, right? Like, she had split scaling between, what is it, defense and HP or something, and attack. I don't even know how Xinyan works, but I just... Like, okay, so you try to split all these scalings, and then that means you get half investment into two things, rather, it's like jack of all trades from master of none, except like, low to mid at all traits, master of none. Okay, so Dehya, just, she has some HP, some attack scaling, it's like, okay, whatever. It's not the end of the world, there's some split scaling characters that works fine for. But the thing that I feel like really messes her up is that, like, okay, if you take a look at her kit, okay, we're not going to talk about her normal attacks because there's a lot of characters that don't rely on normal attacks at all. But like her E, okay? So it does some off-field pyro damage, which can also be done by like better by Shangling, Toma, these things that bring additional support rather than just off-field pyro damage. Even though Toma's not great, he's still like, I still see people saying he outshines Dehya. Let's see. Okay, this right here says. Okay, so when you're in the field, when the opponent is in the field and takes damage, pyro damage, simple. Off field, once every 2.5 seconds, which already isn't. It's kind of slow to be honest. Like, that's not that long. Like 1, 2, and then bam, that's like 2.5 right after that. So it's like, okay, look, they get their resistance to interruption increased, which is the same thing that a shielder does. And part of the damage that goes into the character goes to Dehya as well. Why would you not just shield or just re-heal that damage back, right? So like, literally say that like, oh, I have this damage right here, then just use a healer and then like, just heal it back up. I just don't really think she has a purpose in the current stance. And like, yeah, I really liked Dehya at the start, but then, and I would pull for her even though she's not great. But just based on the gacha rates, there's no way on earth I'm wasting a guaranteed pity on a character that's gonna be on the standard banner in like a couple of weeks. It's just, and like if I get her, yeah, I'll build her down the line. I don't really care how good a character is as long as they're fun and everything. But it's like, if they're going to standard banner and they're this underwhelming, I don't think there's really any reason to pull for them. Like there's nothing. I can't really see a good argument like to pull for her other than the fact that you like her. Like once again, if you just really like the character and want to pull for her, don't let me stop you. 1,000,000% just pull for them. Like you're gonna have a good time. It's gonna be fine. Pull for whoever you want. Just make sure you have all the characters that you need, like your Bennett, Kazuha, Raiden, or whatever you want. And you like the good characters to clear what you need in the game. But there's a certain point, right, where some characters just aren't fun to play even if you really like them. Like, I'm not gonna go try to fight Oceanid with just Child every day. And like, even though Child's my favorite character and he's my main, I'm not gonna just only play Child and then only go fight Oceanid with him, or like go fight the Hydro, what's that called? The Hydro Cube. It's like, there's some things where you kind of have to, like, don't go fight the Electro Oceanid with just Sino, or don't go fight, what's it called? Don't go fight, like, a Geo Cube with just Ito's ult. It's like, there's a place and time for every character. And the thing I'm getting at here, right, is when you play a character like Child against against something like Oceanid, yeah, you can just sit there spamming normal attacks for like 30 minutes and then finally kill it. But why? You know, like, okay, obviously Child can kill the Oceanid, but why? And it's like, okay, it might be fun just to try like once or twice, see what's going on, mess around with it a bit. But then if you're doing that every single day and you pull this character just because you like her, and you sit there and taking like 5 minutes to kill one Ruin Guard with a brand new account or something, you're just not gonna have a good time. Right? Okay, so I did start a new account recently just to kind of mess around and everything. I've been playing Chongyun. Right, he's not great, and I know that he's not like the best damage dealer in the entire world or anything, but I just always liked this character. Didn't really have the resin or resources to build him on this account, so I'm like, let's just build him there, see what happens, you know? So I've been playing him, and it's been a lot of fun, right? But there's some things, like if there's like the Cryo Flower, right? I literally just log in on this account on my laptop and then put the second account on my phone, and I just fight it with like Diluc or Hu Tao or something, because it's not fun to just sit there physical attacking for like 20 minutes trying to kill one boss. And the overworld is very important for some people. Like, you can kill whatever you want in the overworld, it just will take longer. But like, when people say play whoever you want, if you don't invest enough into them, you're just gonna want to quit the game. You're gonna hate your life. You're just not gonna have a good time, you know? Like, okay, once again, like, I can sit here and I could go try to, okay, here's an even better example, right? Let me go try to fight an Animo Slime with just Wander. Like, Wander solo Animo Slime. That's just not gonna happen. I'll be there all day, man. And it's like, I kind of feel like some people forget that at the end of the day, you do need to still have fun with the characters. So obviously pick characters you like, but it just seems like there's no real place for Dehya. And I just want to make sure that people know that before they pull, so they don't waste all their time. Or resources are harder in Primos that take a long time to get, and then watch them like lose their 50-50 and then go to pity twice for this character that they think is going to be their main, they think it's going to be great. And then they just get burnt out with the game like in a week because everything takes 4 years to kill. It just really doesn't make sense to me, you know? So, pretty much last time I'm saying this video, play whoever you like, but make sure you have other characters that can still clear things somewhat quickly, because it just really isn't a fun factor to just sitting there continuously slashing thing over and over and over and over again, at least in my opinion. I don't know, some people might enjoy that, but I feel like those people are just going to get burnt out with the game. And it's like, I saw Zyok say that you would be thrilled with this character if you just didn't have access to the internet. Right? So like, say that like, oh, I finally got my first character. I got, I don't know. Let's just use Shin Yan here, right? Who's even better than Dehya, I've heard a lot of people saying. let's just say, oh wow, look at this, I got my Xinyan. I think she's a really cool character. I think she has great scaling. She's super fun to play. Oh, look at this, I even got Wolf's Gravestone for her. I can use Red Horn on her, right? And it's like, okay, you think you're having a great time and everything, you think that, oh, look at this great damage, and then you log on and you see someone with like a C6 rated Shogun hit, or like a C6 Eula, and she goes and hits 1,000,000 damage, and you're sitting there with like your 10,000 damage from Dehya, and you're like, why can't I hit 1,000,000 damage, right? And it's because not all characters were created equally. I feel like that's one thing that a lot of people forget. Not all characters were created equally, and that's just a simple fact. Like, okay, I'm not gonna sit here saying that Farazan can do the same damage as Wander, and it's because she just can't. Like, her scale, not only like the 4-star to 5-star range, where it's just like damage dealing, there's a lot of scaling that is missing from 4-star units, but like Dehya has 4-star scaling almost, like even worse than most 4-stars, which is crazy. Like, some characters just aren't meant for certain things, right? So it's like, okay, this whole talk has been about damage, right? Let's say that I even want to switch it up and talk about her support capabilities. Off-field, her off-field pyro application once every 2.5 seconds. Okay. When Toma first came out, why did everyone... Okay, what makes Xiangling so good other than, like, just numbers or her use in certain teams? Why do people like playing Xiangling so much, right? Off-field pyro application, that's very useful. That's very useful, and we don't really have, like, a pyro form of Yuan or Xingqiu that works that well, you know? Like, yeah, we have, we do have Xiangling, but she's, like, the closest we get. And it's like, okay, imagine if there was a character like Xingqiu or Yuan, but was literally just pyro, right? Like, you know, people run Hu Tao with, like, double Hydro, right? Xingqiu, Yuan. Okay. Now, let me bring up a character like Child, right? Look at how quickly his Hydro damage goes, look how quickly he can apply. So, I'm pretty sure Child's damage doesn't have ICD. So basically, as long as Pyro is applied, every single one of his hits can vaporize, which is actually kind of rare in this game. Imagine if they, like, imagine if they made, like, Dehya and Toma apply Pyro as quickly as Xingqiu and Yuan. Child would immediately, like, become an insane unit, right? Well, I don't really think they want that, you know? It's like, I don't know, Child is already has one of the best teams in the game. Now imagine if they make supports that are even better for it. It's just, it'd be insane. Like, imagine a Pyro unit that can apply faster than Jingling, or just more consistently, like, you know what I mean? It's pretty crazy. So, I don't really think that they want to increase it that much. I don't really think they want to increase a Pyro character to power creep Jingling, because then it's just like, and all their other Pyro characters are just gonna get worse. It's like the same reason that they've been terrified to power creep Bennett, right? It's like, what was their way of, like, nerfing Bennett? Because Bennett was used in basically every single team. So what did they do? They made characters scale with EM or HP or something else more than attack, so the attack buff wouldn't be as useful. Does it still work great for many characters like Wander or Child or anything? 100%, yeah, it does. It's like, I don't know. I just don't personally see a point for Dehya. I don't know. If they find one for her soon, like, I'm be real with you. To be honest, the community could just be wrong, right? Like, okay, look at Child or look at Bennett or Xingqiu. Like, a lot of these characters that are seen as good now, when they first were released, everyone was like, oh, they're terrible. And why is that? Because none of us really knew how to play them. Like, people would only use Child as a hyper carry, which I'm be real with you, is how I play him, but I don't really care. It's because people would just play them wrong, you know? So, I could be wrong, like, I don't know, a week or two in the future. I waited a couple days to see if anyone would say anything like, oh, she's actually insane in this team, or really good with this. I just don't really think it's gonna happen. And I'm not just here to, like, doom post and say, oh, Dehya's terrible. Nobody can like Dehya. If you like Dehya, like Dehya, you know? Like, I think she's a super cool character, and I was gonna pull for her until they said that she was standard banner. Or like... I don't know, there's some things that just are just fights not worth fighting, you know? Like, you wanted to fight for Zhongli, the Archon, to become better, then okay, yeah, let the audience fight for the Archon to be better, that's fine. Alright, but like, there's some characters like Dehya, where even though she was the most anticipated, people are still gonna pull for her. Oilverse knows that, and they're just... It's literally just, nothing's gonna change, alright? Like, I don't really care how much you complain, it's like, I don't know, if... You can complain all you want to Oilverse, but I don't really think they're that great at listening to the community overall. Like, look at the anniversary awards, right? Everyone was like, oh gosh, so if we complain enough, then they'll give in and get what we want. That was like the biggest controversy of the year, basically. And they just, and almost nothing changed to the new anniversary. Do you know why? It's because they just know that the vocal community isn't even the main player base. I feel like most of the player base is just the new players that come in, spend a couple bucks for them, and then leave, you know? So, I don't know. Do I think anything's gonna change? No. If you want to play Dehya, feel free to play Dehya. Like, no one's gonna sit there stopping you and gatekeeping Dehya. Like, I guarantee you that you're gonna be seeing a million challenge videos like, oh, can Dehya beat this Hydros? That's a little bit of an exaggeration, but I don't know. I just think it's kind of funny how reverse just ends if you jump at all. Why'd they add that? I don't know. Like, I don't know. Is there a new artifact set that might come out that can buff her? I mean, they're probably, I don't know, they'll probably release an artifact set for her. What does the next artifact set do? Like, next patch, I'm pretty sure? It'll be fine. I don't know. If she does happen to get a new, she just happen to get a new artifact set that buffs her, I feel like it'd have to buff her a lot, but like, if there's a new artifact set that really buffs her, like, to be insane or even on par with most characters, you're gonna hear about it, you know, like, especially if you somehow found my video in like the depths of YouTube random Genshin content, then you're gonna find it, like, yeah, I mean, that pretty much wraps it up there. Oh, there's just a chest over there. I don't know if you guys know this, but I don't really explore that often. Oh, I missed that. I mean, I meant to do that. That was just comedic effect. So bad at that. Yeah, that's pretty much everything. If you did make it to this point of the video, thank you so much, and I appreciate you all. Consider subscribing. If you enjoyed and want to see more, I'll probably be going back to normal content. Pretty much the plan right now is to basically just, I don't know, we'll probably see Kave and Baizu Dreams, wink wink, soon. We'll know what they do. I know, it's not the end of the world. We'll know what Kave, Baizu do pretty soon. And I'll give my thoughts on the dreams I have about their kit. I don't know how to phrase that, that's weird. Okay, here you go, let's... Oh wow, but I really love Wonder, I need to play them. Oh, but like, I have to. I'm only gonna build Wonder, you don't understand. I love this character, look how much fun I'm having. You guys see my point? Like, you can... no matter how much you like a character, there's some places where they just won't work. Right? Like, it's just... like, okay, oh, let me just sit here try to kill them with Farazan. Wow, look how much fun I'm having. Oh, look at that, I got one. You guys get the point. It's like... there's just some things that really aren't that fun. And it's like, not because you don't like the character enough, you guys just saw, like, this is a character I love playing. Like, say, okay, that friendship died right now, and I played Wonder a lot. I don't know, I just think it's kind of ridiculous. There's no real point to that. Yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. So I'm gonna end it there. So, yeah, back to what I was saying. This video went a little bit longer than I was expecting. But if you do enjoy the video, consider subscribing. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you all have a great day. See ya. Bye.